town born of the railroad, the host city for the Centennial Olympic Games. Women's gymnastics is one of the glamour events of the Olympics, and 7 remarkable young women came to Atlanta's Georgia Dome determined to write their names in the history books. Representing the rich diversity of America, they hailed from small towns and big cities, proud daughters of a proud land. Years of practice, determination, and sacrifice brought them here. They came as individuals, but they would leave as Atlanta's Magnificent Seven. July 23, 1996, the final session of the women's team optionals. The women's team gold medal in artistic gymnastics would now be decided. A confident USA team marches out in front of 33,000 partisan fans. The 7 young faces are stoic and focused. They know the history. No USA women's gymnastics team has ever won a gold medal. American women have won bronze twice in 1948 and again in Barcelona in 1992. They have won silver in a Russian boycotted '84 Los Angeles Games, but never a gold. Would this be the year? Would this be the breakthrough? Many experts believed this was the best team the USA had ever produced. Deep, talented, and experienced. Edmond, Oklahoma's Shannon Miller is the most decorated American gymnast of all time, male or female. Best known for her work on the beam, she won 5 medals in Barcelona and owns 2 world all-around championships. All that is lacking on her resume is Olympic gold. Nicknamed Awesome Dawsome, Dominique Dawes is the veteran of the team. She was on the '92 Olympic team, but made her reputation by sweeping the 4 apparatus titles as well as the all-around at the '94 U.S. Nationals. The 3rd returning member of the team that won bronze in Barcelona is 18-year-old Carrie Strug of Tucson, Arizona. A solid performer known for her intensity and work ethic, Strug's gymnastics heroine is Mary Lou Retton. Strug has often labored in the shadow of more famous gymnasts. Would this be the year she found the spotlight for herself? Team captain Amanda Borden of Cincinnati, Ohio, provides the team with stability as well as solid routines on the beam and floor. Borden's close friend is J.C. Phelps, another newcomer who has quietly emerged as a talented gymnast, skilled on all 4 apparatus. 2nd all-around at the '96 U.S. Nationals and 3rd all-around at the Olympic trials, at 16 years old, Phelps may be coming into her own. Soft-spoken Amy Chow of San Jose, California, proved her grit at the Olympic trials. During her routine on the balance beam, she fell hard on her head, but worked through the pain and was able to finish her routine. Her score of 9.275 gave her the final spot on the team. Precocious teenager Dominique Moceanu gives the team flair and excitement. Described by some as part Nadia Comaneci, part Mary Lou Retton, she's the daughter of Romanian immigrants who also happen to be gymnasts. Her coach, Bella Caroli, also trained Comaneci and Retton. Comaneci was 14 at her first Olympics. Moceanu is 14. And says Caroli, there was only one Nadia, but she can be the very first Dominique. Indeed, the U.S. team boasted an imposing lineup, but to win gold, they would have to overcome some difficult competition. Romania came into the Atlanta Olympics as the team to beat. They live and train together in the town of Diva in the Carpathian Mountains. Winners of the 1995 World Championships and coached by Octavian Belu, the Romanians boasted Lavinia Milosevic, known simply as Milo, winner of world or Olympic titles on each of the 4 apparatus. 16-year-old Simona Amonar, known for her talent on the vault. Gina Gojan, world champion on the vault and floor. and Alexandra Marinescu, the youngest on the team, but a star in the making. The Soviet Union and its successor, the Unified Team, have dominated women's gymnastics, winning 10 gold medals in 10 tries. But with that dynasty now shattered, Russia has inherited the best talent. Captain Rosa Galieva won a gold medal with the Unified Team in Barcelona, and the elegant Svetlana Horkina at 5 feet 5 is one of the tallest elite gymnasts in the world. The Russians will be tough to beat, strong at the top, but depth is the question. China would be a team to be reckoned with. Its star is Mo Weilan, arguably the most exciting performer in the world and one of the favorites in the women's all-around. She's a gymnast known for the difficulty of her routines, but even with her exceptional talent, she would need plenty of help from her teammates. The race for the gold in Atlanta was wide open, and the stage was set for a close and intense competition. The U.S. team arrived in Atlanta on July 14th. First stop was the Accreditation Center. There were the obligatory photos and the not-so-surprising complaints about the quality of the pictures. Shannon Miller's coach showed the confidence of a team that knew it was ready.
Down the medal ceremony. It's gold. It's gold. Check it out. Check it out.
Then it was off to be outfitted. Amy Chow's shopping cart was overflowing with gear. Carrie Strug sampled t-shirts. Dominique Dawes headed for the shoe room. And Dominique Moceanu wondered if she would ever find a pair of shorts to fit her 4'7", 71-pound frame. Formal preparations reached a climax during podium training at the Georgia Dome. The U.S. coaches wanted to simulate an actual competition, and the crowd that packed in to watch the practice sessions created an electric atmosphere.
We've had like maybe 100, 200 people at a podium training, so we were really surprised to see over 22,000 there. But I think it was good for us because we got into the Georgia Dome with lots of people there, and they were basically all cheering for the United States. So it kind of broke us into the feeling that we were going to feel when we were competing.
The women's team competition is divided into two parts, compulsories and optionals, each counting 50% of the total score. The women compete on 4 apparatus: vault, balance beam, uneven bars, and floor exercise. 6 gymnasts perform on each apparatus. The lowest score is dropped. The Romanians found themselves in the first session of the compulsories, a position notorious for low scores. Plus, because of an injury to number 4 gymnast Ana Maria Bican, they were competing with 6 gymnasts instead of 7. Still, they performed admirably.
A little bit sloppy at times, but she's actually doing a nice job in this routine. They are pouring it on, fighting for a stick landing.
Their vault and uneven bar totals were the best of the competition. The only miscues came on the beam, Simona Amunar falling while performing an arabesque. As the replay clearly shows, it's a very fine line between success and failure on the beam. Said Octavian Ballou, their coach, "We performed as well as we could at 9:30 in the morning." The U.S. women were slotted in the third session. With 32,000 fans roaring their approval, they dazzled the crowd with the precision of their routines. It was artistry and athleticism, talent and toughness. All in all, a show-stopping performance by 7 young women at the top of their form. Coming into this competition, there were some questions. Shannon Miller had missed the Olympic trials with an injured left wrist and was still suffering from tendinitis, but she performed brilliantly, leading the team in scoring. Dominique Moceanu was also injured, a 4-centimeter stress fracture in her right shin. She had been limited to light training, avoiding exercises that put stress on the leg. Still, she showed few signs of rust as she lit up the Georgia Dome with her smile. It was a day when almost everything worked.
Go. Stronger. Strong. Stay. Yeah!
The only hiccup came early on the second rotation, the balance beam. Strug, Borden, and Dawes all struggled. Then 16-year-old J.C. Phelps fell off her favorite apparatus, a 5/10 reduction. The replay showed her dogged determination as she tried desperately to hang on. The expression on her parents' faces showed disappointment as she scored a 9.012. It was a tenuous moment. The balance beam is as much a test of nerve as physical strength. Sometimes a fall begets another fall, but Shannon Miller was next up, and she showed the poise of a veteran as she confidently went through her routine. Her grace under pressure earned her a score of 9.737. The U.S. team was back on course. Later, Carrie Strug posted the highest single score of the compulsories for the Americans, a 9.825 on the floor exercise. All in all, the U.S. team landed 23 of their 24 routines, a superb effort, a performance worthy of celebration. As the team left the floor, they knew they were in good position going into the optionals. The Russians and Chinese competed in the final session of the compulsories. The Chinese came into Atlanta with high hopes. Mo Whelan, the little angel, posted a 9.750 on the floor exercise. There were high fives all around, but this was not to be China's night. A slip on the beam, a missed release skill on the uneven bars, and the Chinese had knocked themselves out of contention.
Nice handstand positions, tricky move here.
Oh! And not even close.
For the Chinese, it was over before it even began. The Russians, led by coach Leonid Arkayev, did considerably better. Dina Kochetkova led the team in scoring, placing third overall. Svetlana Horkina also turned in a solid effort, including a 9.662 on the floor. Yelena Grosheva, Horkina's roommate at Russia's Round Lake Training Center, electrified the crowd with a 9.8 on the vault. Rosa Galieva showed the grace and maturity of a veteran gymnast on her floor routine, earning a 9.737. And if you want to know what it feels like to stick a vault, just watch Galieva. Her score, 9.837. When the final scores of the compulsories were tabulated, the Russians held a narrow lead. But for the United States, the dream was now clearly within their grasp. 2 days later, they would take the floor in an effort to finish the job and bring home the gold. In the optionals, the women would perform on the same 4 apparatus as in the compulsories. The only difference, they would get 2 tries on the vault instead of 1. The first rotation for the U.S. team, the uneven bars. There is a strategy to the team competition. Scores tend to rise as a team works its way through an apparatus. So coaches lead off with one of their better gymnasts on that particular apparatus, followed by the less skilled to the most skilled. The best is saved for last. J.C. Phelps was chosen to lead off and set the table for the United States. John Tesh, Elfie Schlegel, and Tim Daggett had the call.
John, I talked about the strength of this U.S. team on this particular event. What I meant by that is they have difficulty throughout the entire routine from start to finish. There's no dying out in this routine. Very well composed exercises.
Relatively new dismount for JC. Handles it well. JC Phelps gets the Americans off to a strong start.
In her first Olympic Games. And that is pressure personified.
When I started out on bars, I felt like it was one of the best routines I've ever done. So I knew that my role was to start off the team with a hit routine so that each time the scores could get higher. So I knew my job and I went out and did it.
JC will sit and wait for her score while the next competitor on bars for Team USA, Carrie Strug. And a 9.787, a tremendous start for the United States.
Remember, scores tend to build, so that is huge right off the bat.
Carrie Strug, 18 years old. Remember her from the Barcelona Games? Also remembered as the gymnast edged out by pre-Olympic favorite Kim Zemesco for that third and final American berth.
First big release skill out of the way. Carrie has one more planned.
She was so solid in compulsories.
Solid.
You can hear Bella Caroli's voice, her coach, in the background.
Watch this dismount. When it's great, she usually sticks it.
This is huge for the Americans. High five for Carrie Strug from Bella Caroli. Shannon Miller got chalk in her eye during the bar warm-up. She's been rubbing it for a while now. And Carrie Strug score a 9.787. Dominique Moceanu.
I talked about great composition. Bella Caroli has done a good job choreographing this routine. She's tiny, but she can fly on this event. Now, pay attention to the dismount. I don't know if she's going to do it. She may unveil a new dismount.
Only 14 years old.
She's actually a little bit tighter today than I've seen her. A little tighter form. Here comes that big dismount. Full twisting double layout.
Hold on. Those are her parents, Dimitri and Camelia Moceanu. Three huge routines in a row for the Americans.
That's what we are talking about. No, that's from now on. All right. Yes.
This routine is simply incredible. This is her forte. She has the most unusual skills in this routine. It's just plain old neat.
Amy's 18 years old from San Jose, California. Remember, she had that horrible crash on the balance beam head first in the Olympic trials. Got up and finished the routine, and that's the only reason she made it here.
Boy, not a mistake so far from this entire U.S. team, but the highlights still to come.
Get ready for this dismount.
Double twisting, double somersault, 2 flips, 2 twists.
The Americans are nailing it. starts, and the crowd loves it.
This truly is a team of superstars. We've been reading all week long in the paper, coaches from different countries saying they have no weakness. Certainly none right here. 2 flips, 2 twists. Incredibly difficult, just a small hop on the landing.
9-8-3-7, the highest score thus far for the Americans. Shannon Miller. And if the others were great, she is quintessential bars. Keep in mind, the best finish for the U.S. in a fully attended Olympic Games is 3rd as a team in '92. The Americans are in 2nd. One at a time, one by one, they are cranking it.
This team is hot, John. They are absolutely on. It appears they want it. They are going after everything.
You know? Hey.
Steve Nuno, Shannon's coach.
Beautiful job.
Dominique Dawes, in her 2nd Olympic Games, saw that graphic, the oldest member of the team, with a lot of experience.
And when this young lady hits this set, she absolutely flies on her release moves. I don't think I've ever seen anyone take this skill that you're about to see coming up on the high bar as high as she performs it. Watch this.
Right here.
They call her Awesome Dawson. She is that. USA on the move to try and upset Russia. Dominique Dawes has just received her score, 9-8-5-0.
While Americans were thrilling the crowd on the uneven bars, the Russians tried to stay focused on the job at hand, the vault. But the normally unflappable athletes of this gymnastics superpower knew that this 4-ring circus would not work to their advantage. The cheers would be for the hometown favorites. The Russians performed well, but not with the precision they showed in the compulsories. The Romanians had the misfortune of starting on the beam. But despite a few bobbles, a few balance checks, their scores that counted ranged from a 9.650 to a pair of 9.825s. Alexandra Marinescu's 9.60 was dropped. Still, they lost ground to the Americans, who used their soaring routines on the uneven bars to move into 1st place in the standings. 3 rotations to go. 3 more apparatus to conquer. The next, the most unforgiving. The balance beam is 16 feet 5 inches long, 47 inches off the ground, but just 4 inches wide. As these shots of Carrie Strug from the compulsory show, the beam requires a blend of technical skill, confidence, and concentration. First up on the beam in the optionals was Amanda Borden. Her job was to maintain the momentum the team built up on the uneven bars, and she didn't disappoint.
We had so many great routines on bars, and going into beam, you needed to be as confident as possible. And I was first up on beam, and I knew that I wanted to have the best set of my life because I wanted to set the team up. If I would have fallen, or if the first person would have fallen, that means everybody else would have had to hit their routines. So you just want to try to set the next person up so that the scores keep going up and everybody's confidence keeps going up also.
For the Americans, the queen of the beam has always been Shannon Miller, winner of the silver on the beam in Barcelona and a former world champion in the event.
Well, the one record she has not held, the one medal she has never worn around her neck, is Olympic gold.
U.S. staff could not have prepared this team any better than they have. You know, they were at a training camp in North Carolina prior to the start of these Olympic Games, and their training camp was in a coliseum on a podium. Certainly a much better preparation than they had in Barcelona, and then they topped off the week with an exhibition in front of 17,000 fans.
It's always been said that Shannon has toiled in the shadow, first of Kim Zmeskal at the '92 games, and then this past year in the shadow of Dominique Moceanu. But so far, she has been the most solid competitor for the Americans. Compulsory's on.
Not even a waver in this routine, just the dismount.
Shannon Miller and the rest of the Americans are hot. They are very hot. Next up, Dominique Moceanu, 14 years old in the Olympic Games. At this point in time, the United States is still ahead of Russia. We are in the second rotation of 4.
Perfect.
You know, John, I've watched these young ladies train, and they do an average of 10 beam routines in every practice.
We have a microphone on Bella Caroli, her coach. I want you to hear it.
And tight, nice high. Yes! 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 And long. Yes! Gorgeous! Good. Yes. Clean. Good job. Right. Nice and easy. Yes. Good, Domi. Nice and clean. Clean, smooth. Smooth. And stay. Hey, we got it. We got it.
Miller and Moceanu were just the crowning duo of what was a consistent performance by Team USA on the beam.
That's what we are talking.
Good job.
J.C. Phelps, bouncing back from her fall in the compulsories, posted a respectable, if ultimately discarded, 9.60. Carrie Strug contributed a 9.737 and showcased her grace and strength. Maryland's Dominique Dawes put together a confident tumbling effort en route to her 9.725 score. Meanwhile, Romania's Lavinia Milosevic competed on the floor exercise, displaying flashes of the brilliance that gave her 2 individual golds in '92. Her score, a 9.812. The Russians followed the Americans to the uneven bars, but failed to match the precision of the U.S. gymnasts. Yelena Dolgopolova fell. Still, Svetlana Horkina rallied her team with a brilliant effort.
She's very tall on this event, but very elegant. Long lines add to the unique look that she carries on this event. She does some great skills.
When she was first starting gymnastics, the coaches didn't want to take her because they felt like she would be too tall.
That's a new skill there, John. Capitalizing on her long body. It's just incredible what she can do on this event.
And her score was a 9.850, which keeps the Russians very, very close to the United States.
After 2 rotations, the USA maintained its slight lead. The floor exercise is the center stage in gymnastics. The floor is mounted on springs, giving the gymnasts the ability to soar on their tumbling runs. The surface is 12 meters square, and stepping outside the lines is a 1/10 deduction. Performed to music, the athletes must showcase their technical skills mixed with artistic interpretation. Leading off for the U.S. was J.C. Phelps, her 9.750, a solid score on which to build. Team captain Amanda Borden showed her exuberance and energy with her performance, scoring a 9.762.
I was happy with both my routines. I really couldn't have asked for anything better. Those are probably some of the best routines I've ever done, and this is the competition to do it.
Dominique Moceanu kept the momentum going, wowing the crowd with her show-stopping routine. Her score, a 9.837. She may be only 14 years old, but she's very comfortable in the spotlight. But it wasn't until Dominique Dawes took the floor that the magic sparkled. She was close to flawless as she scored the team high 9.850. All seemed to be going well, and then what had seemed automatic became a problem. One of Shannon Miller's tumbling runs came up short, and she almost fell.
Well, you know, John, this was the first real visible error in any of these routines. It is amazing that she hung on to this. Right there, could have put her hands down, could have taken the fall, but she's tough.
Serious, serious fight right there.
Though she would finish strong, the mark of a champion in any sport, Shannon could only manage a 9.618, but the team was hoping Carrie Strug could do better. And indeed she did. Strug soared on her tumbling runs and executed her dance steps with precision and grace. The result, a 9.837, and Miller's score would be dropped. By this time, only the Russians were still in contention. But the beam would prove to be their downfall. Yelena Grosheva stumbled on her approach. Her score, a modest 9.437. Then disaster. Oksana Liapina fell off the beam. Grosheva's score would have to count. But though the gold seemed to be slipping away, Rosa Galieva showed the heart of a champion. She easily navigated her routine, scoring a 9.762. Horkina contributed a 9.85. The stars were doing their jobs, but Russia's lack of depth was beginning to show. Strug was now establishing herself as one of the leaders of the team. Indeed, Atlanta was her coming out party, and it was a celebration she had earned. Carrie Strug barely missed qualifying for the individual all-around in Barcelona, losing out by a mere 14/100ths of a point to her heralded teammate, Kim Zmeskal. Then at the 1994 U.S. Classic in Palm Springs, she suffered a horrifying fall. Still, she fought back and returned to the sport. After the Olympics, her mentor Bella Caroli retired and she drifted from coach to coach. Fortunately, Caroli finally returned to gymnastics and Strug returned to Caroli. But once again, she found herself in the shadows as Dominique Moceanu grabbed the spotlight. Still, working with Caroli gave her the confidence that she could compete at the highest levels. Confidence that would serve her well at the Georgia Dome. After 3 rotations, the U.S. held a comfortable but certainly not insurmountable lead. The vault is an interesting challenge. In a little over 5 seconds, the gymnast sprints down the floor, hits the springboard flying onto the horse, ricocheting into the air, twisting and tumbling to the landing. It's an explosive and exciting competition. J.C. Phelps again proved her medal in the leadoff role, posting a 9.662. Amy Chow, back after sitting out the beam and the floor, turned in a 9.712. Shannon Miller, the top scorer for the U.S. in the team competition, soared through the air, took a step, and got a 9.70. And the most consistent athlete, Dominique Dawes, scored a team-high 9.762. It seemed that the gold had been won. Just one more good score, and the U.S. would be assured of it.
I can't believe this. I can't believe I did that, you know. I was really upset. And I was like, well, I better make this next one, you know, because I have one more chance. They count the best vault. And then, I don't know what happened, you know. It just wasn't the day for vault.
Well, here we go. No! The same thing.
Well, this is amazing. As Elfie said, it's not because of the pain in her leg, it's because she's had very few times practicing this vault because she's been saving her body.
But she looks stunned.
If you told me this was going to happen, I would have said, no way, it couldn't happen.
almost identical to the first vault. You know, when she lands this vault, she's capable of a big score. She could have done it for the team. There's the beautiful height and distance, but look, she opened up way too early.
Yeah, actually, that was a way better vault, Elfie, as you said, but it was just a bad landing.
It was the replay of Bella, of course.
That hurts.
All right, 9.2.
In 35 years of my coaching career, I learned that, believe me, to keep the score very closely. And I following the score. I'm keeping with one eye, a corner of my eye, always following what's the situation, especially on the team competition. The score keeping is pretty complicated. But I knew one thing. We are 7/10 from in the front of the Russian before Kerry Strug performances.
She will also perform the same vault we just saw. Moceanu sit down, 2 in a row on.
Oh! 3 falls in a row for the Americans.
This is scary.
She is limping.
Well, initially when I was walking back, I was thinking to myself, you know, we got a little bit of a problem here because I can't walk normal. But, you know, when I looked kind of at Bella and Marta and saw and everyone's cheering you on and the crowds, you know, all of a sudden becoming dead silent, and I was like, you can handle one more vault. You've done this so many times. Just at least you got to try, you know, for me to know that I gave it everything.
I was more concerned about, you know, if she wasn't going to be able to do another vault. What would happen if Kerry couldn't do another vault? Could it slip away?
That doesn't mean we could absolutely could lose, or definitely or irrevocably we were the losers at that point. No, but we were so close that nobody at that particular point, not even a mathematic genius, could calculate how the outcome gonna be.
We didn't know if she needed to have, you know, a perfect vault or if she just needed to stay on her feet or what, and so we kind of held hands as a team and we were just praying that you know, she would make it through the vault, and she did a great job.
Well, when I was walking back, you know, and I kind of glanced at Bella and Marta, I saw the team also, and everyone's, you know, come on, you can do it. You know, you can kind of hear the anticipation in everyone's voice, like, oh my goodness, because, you know, all of us have put so much effort and time and sacrifice and years, and, you know, everyone wanted to make it worthwhile. You know, that it was like so close, and yet then it seemed so far away, you know, at that last second.
Don't slow down, yes.
Just said a small prayer and went.
Kerry Strug is hurt. She is hurt badly.
That image of her falling to the mat will never leave me. After she did her little salute and then fell to the mat, I mean, that's there for me forever. And it's the greatest moment in my life, maybe, and maybe the worst.
I went to her and told Kerry, I know you hurt now, but you have to realize you made the gold. We all made the gold. That was a common effort, and you put the final cream, the final moment. You pulled that through. You better be proud. Yes, I'm proud. Yes, I'm proud.
Go, go, go.
I watched over and over lately that tape, how she was running down for that second vault. It was the dedication, the decision, the aggressiveness, and the desire on that face. It was no back holding anything. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. That's going to be a vault. But the landing was the most miraculous. How in the world she managed to land in one leg, to hold on, and to present herself. I believe that was the most incredible physical performance I've seen for a long, long time.
It was sort of confusing because we wanted to be really happy, but at the same time, we didn't know what to think about Kerry. We didn't know what was wrong with her. So we sort of didn't really know how to act.
It was some type of adversity that turned into a moment of something that was almost magic.
On that moment, yes, that was a statement out. United States of America is the greatest, most powerful powerhouse in the world in women's gymnastics.
I've always, kind of felt like everyone else has been up there, and that everyone's always looking at, Shannon Miller, Kim Zmeskal, or Dominique Montciano, and it seemed like everyone was really behind me, and I had, full support from everyone, and it just felt so great. It was like I was on top of the world, and I just can't describe it. It was just a great feeling knowing that I gave it my all and everyone knew it and everyone really appreciated it.
With her final vault, Kerri Strug established herself as one of the shining stars of these Centennial Games. Her vault was a feat of truly Olympic proportions. And long after the scores of this day are forgotten, who won and who lost, her courage will be remembered forever. For the Russians, it was not their day or their meet. Disappointment gave way to tears and a silver medal. The Romanians had competed well, but not well enough. They would take home the bronze. The final standings gave the U.S. a convincing victory. They had proved themselves the best team in the world. And the reward was a raucous celebration in the Georgia Dome.
I've seen her on the stretcher and I heard, Bella, Bella. And I couldn't find her because she was already laid on the stretcher. So I ran toward the group of people, the one who's surrounding her, and said, what's the problem, Kerri? They want to take me to the hospital. I don't want to go. I want to stay with the girls. I said, Kerri, no way. Nobody in the world going to take you out. Not even the New York police going to stop me to don't put you right up on the podium with the other girls. Sure, we are going right now. So I picked her up and we ran after the girls and managed to get in the time on the right time and put her up where she belonged to at that moment.
One by one, they received their gold medals and then faced the flag as their national anthem played. For 7 remarkable young women, it was a moment laden with pride and satisfaction.